Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Boujee Astrology, and we're going to do a deeper, more substantial look at the full moon in Gemini. Now, before we do any type of breakdown, recap, or anything like that, a quick little announcement. On the weekly podcast, I kept making comments about like some of the end of the Mercury retrograde stuff was mundane stuff. Yeah, mine was a mundane thing. Literally, Mercury turns direct. I go visit the Apple store. Hey, we can't repair your phone. Oh, great. Great. Call the 1-800 number. Yeah, you're gonna have to send it in. We're gonna have to send you a replacement. Okay, great. Well, I'm about to be phoneless for I don't know, probably a couple of days. I don't know how long it's gonna take. But for some of y'all who like to DM me all the time and expecting a response, at least within a 24-hour span, if I have the ability to do that, like I try to, you're not getting it this week. After this full moon, you're not getting it because I'm going to be without my phone for at minimum till next week. Yay, insurance claims. How eighth house full moon for me. Anyways, just kind of letting people know, making you aware that like my communication will actually be pretty much limited a lot more than what it would normally be. So there's that. Now, there are mundane things to this full moon because whenever it comes down to what Mercury rules and Mercury represents, it's not big, torrid love affair type things. It's not big, rambunctious, let's change the world per se. There's communication. First and foremost, Mercury rules communication in all forms of communication. Some of us have had some phone stuff. Some of us have had the car things. Some of us have been trying to make plans to travel, and one part of your plans did not work out. Some of y'all are looking at this full moon as a new plan that you can do. Like, well, we didn't get to do the trip for Thanksgiving. Maybe we can make it for Christmas. Maybe we should try this. And there's a level of commitment for a lot of people whenever it comes to like wanting to try over or wanting to do something different from this point moving forward. And for a lot of people, it is mundane communication, contracts, putting something into order. It's commerce, it's mercantile, it's travel related, it's communications related, it's internet related. Like it's something in this mundane sense for a lot of people. We're not necessarily doing big soul opening things for everybody, but there are a few. Now, why do I say that there are a few? Because this is a full moon in Mercury's sign right after Mercury ended its retrograde. Now, he ended his retrograde in Scorpio. This sign is about soul openings. This sign is about the hidden wounds. This sign is about the hidden secrets and power struggles and traumas and the things that we don't necessarily want to share with everybody. There was a reason why I kept saying, like, there's an emotional messiness to November. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that the second half of the Mercury retrograde was happening in Scorpio. It was. Now Mercury is direct. And upon the climax, so to speak, of this full moon perfecting, Mercury will start to move again and immediately reactivate transits that he's already done once before. So, a lot of people, there's going to be something that needs to be communicated. Now, for some people, the communication, so to speak, is about hidden wounds, hidden trauma, things we've never talked about before, things that we've kept behind the secrets, behind the doors, behind the walls, dust under the rug. There has been something that wasn't necessarily at the forefront. For some people, it is a plan of action. And it goes to that mundane stuff. I'm going to do a merch line. Like, I'm going to go do a bunch of custom, whatever, shoes, bags, shirts. I want to do a bunch of customized stuff. I want to do this merch line. I'm thinking commerce, mercantile. I want to create this new little potion and an essential oil, this little tincture. I want to create it, but I don't just want to create it in the sense of like what I would normally do. Like I did some for the house. If you need some fire cider, it's in the cupboard, it's in the pantry. No, 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 no. We're talking about like I want to turn this little tincture that I make and I want to mass produce it. I want everybody to be able to have it. I want it to be able to be something beyond what I have been doing. There are those elements. And for some people, that's going to shock them. Like, you want to do what now? You're a teacher. You're a respected lawyer. Well, I want to be a witch. Don't we all? We grew up brainwashed into being Disney princesses, and now all of us, nah, I'm going to be a witch. The church failed. For other people, the truth, the information, the thing that comes to light, the thing that must be communicated is the secret. It's the wound. It's the trauma. It's the insecurity. It's the frustration. For some people, at the end of the Mercury retrograde, there was an accountability. There was a mirror. There was some type of information that came through. There was some type of awareness that something will not continue a certain way. And not everybody was able to go, okay, I don't want to do it anyway. Some of y'all got your feelings hurt. And as we go through the vibration from the full moon forward, we're going to be able to talk about some of those feelings. We will be able to work through some of the past, voice certain things, ask specific questions of the elder, of the guru, of the people that show us the sport, the people that teach us the lessons, provide us with the knowledge that we do not have, give us that outside perspective. Sometimes it's not a guru in the sense of like, I want to talk to my astrologer, I want to talk to my yoga teacher, my philosopher. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's your best friend who, at that moment seems to be more adultier than you. And you still need some level of advice of what to do next, of the steps to take next, of the direction, of the plan, of where we go from here. I've said it for a while. The end of 2025 is about unfinished business. By the time we get through this full moon and just the immediate days around this full moon, we are going to be much more aware of what our unfinished business is, of what wounds are still bubbling under the surface, of what truths need to see light. For some of us, it's just accepting the truth in the sense of it is what it is. This will never change. Your toxic ex, your toxic parent, that toxic family relationship, it'll never change. So I'm not going to try to make it change. I'm just going to accept and I'm going to respond. That could be gray rock, yellow rock, cut off. That is what it is. There is a series of energies that were meant to unfold through November that are leading us to some kind of decision in this full moon. And for some of us, this is a turning point decision. See, the interesting thing about this full moon is it is perfectly squaring the nodes. The nodes are at 13 degrees of Virgo and Pisces because they're always opposite one another. This full moon is happening at 13 degrees of Sagittarius and Gemini. It is a perfect square. This full moon is a full moon bending the nodes. And for a lot of us, now that Mercury is direct and he's ready to start moving through something again, picking up on something that he left off on, picking up on some kind of news, some type of idea, some type of situation that for many of us goes back to October, picking up on something that he's ready to move with. And for a lot of people, if this full moon is not that mundane, which this kind of can contribute to the mundane, let's be fair about that. if it's not that deep secret truth that needs to be spoken so we can logically work through it. And that's the key term. I hadn't said that part yet. I'm saying it now. So we can logically work through it. We need to approach things from that higher mindset. Like whenever we do our inner child wound healing, we need to see it from the learned eyes of the adult. And we have to forgive ourselves for what we didn't know how to do. We didn't know how to respond as a child. There is something in this of like the fresh perspective, seeing the trauma differently, seeing the events differently, seeing our path differently. And for a lot of people, there is a path. See, one of the things I said in the month ahead forecast is like once we started to get into December, we're starting to hit a turning point where we're going to finally have some gains. Now, December in itself is a transitional month of like, we need to end some things, release some things, let some things go. And for some people in this full moon, we are going to be making a logical decision, maybe a little pop off at the mouth. Maybe we're just being a little bit loud, or maybe we're just being very, very stern and curt in our wording. Get to the point. My point is I'm done. It is what it is. For a lot of us, the cutoff right now is not emotional, or it doesn't have to be. It's just one of those things of coming to terms with the fact that I don't want to hurt this way again. I don't want to hurt this way anymore. I don't want to continue this pattern of behavior, and making a logical decision to not repeat a pattern, to finally do the opposite, to not sacrifice yourself for your family whenever they treat you like dog crap afterwards, to not give money to certain people who never pay it back, to not do the things, whatever the things are. I can go through it a multitude of lists and I would still miss a bunch of them. To not hold people on such a high stool. That's not the right word. But we uplift them. We put them up on a, not a throne. There's another word. I'm sticking with stool. Anyways, we put them up there. Pedestal. That's the word. We put people up on a pedestal. And then we allow for them to hurt us over and over again. Part of our pattern breaking is to no longer allow people to sit on their pedestal. Some of us are going, I don't know, push it over. Some of us are just going to walk away. Some of us are going to do some other things. But there's a logical decision to this week. And whenever we round into all of it, the logical decision is also leading to how we move forward from here. We've felt the turn. We've seen the turn. We've seen the breaking. We've seen the content. We've seen the potential. We've seen the business plan. We've seen ideas. We've gotten the inspiration. We've put something into order, or we have gotten the inspiration and we are ready to put something into order. And that in itself is the commitment of what we start to do from here. There's something about committing to something for more people than there is the clearing. And I'm looking at the fact that Mercury is newly direct and ready to start moving forward again, and will continue to move forward all the way until the end of February. So we have a direct play, a direct mentality, a direction we wish to move forward to. And for a lot of us, this full moon is the commitment. For some people, it's a contract. For some people, it's an investment. For some people, it's repairs and it's the mundane stuff. Like I said, some of us got a phone thing. That's not the only thing that went wrong in the Mercury retrograde. I just don't complain about it. It's like, that makes sense. Guess that's what we're doing. Just let it roll. I don't care. I don't give a whole lot of weight to it. The interesting thing about this full moon to me is how many of the signs that your chart ruler is in a cadent house. And cadent houses, they are the transitional houses, but they are the ones where we are meant to learn, where we are meant to understand, where we are meant to transition, shift our focus, create something different, put something new into order. And there is, again, a decision, a proclaiming, an idea that's meant to come through in and around the days of this full moon that we move forward with, that we're going to connect to, that we're going to work with. There's a different idea that's underway, so to speak. And there's some part of the direction from here that is going to take a large amount of work to get things going, to get things moving. Doesn't mean that we're in a bad place. I want to say it that way. It's just knowing the commitment, the direction, so something can finally begin. We were stagnant for a while. By the time we started to get to October, the end of October, we were starting to hit like the shocking things that led to some stagnancy. Like we were having the wounds opened up real fresh. The wounds are not as fresh now. Now we're looking at ways of how we seal them up, of how we rebuild, of what the direction is. Direction is the big thing that I keep hearing. And how we release the past. I'm not going to pretend that there's not going to be wounds, because the Mercury retrograde did end in Scorpio. But not all of us are stuck on wounds. But if you are, there's usually a reason why. And part of what we need to decide to talk about, talk through, get answers to, get ideas of how to better heal ourselves, means, again, approaching something more from the adult perspective. And a lot of you, it's inner child work. But for some of you, it is the recent lies, fraud, deceptions, and secrets that have been brought to the surface. That's a little bit harder, but we're still going to have to come to terms with some level of truth so we can start, again, moving in a clearer, better, and more gainful direction throughout the rest of the month and going into 2026. Okay. Now, if you have never heard a full moon or new moon video with me before, that is perfectly okay. I read everything from a whole house system. What does that mean? I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees, whatever sign your ascendant is in, that entire zodiac sign is your first house. And every numerical house that follows is going to be associated with the next zodiac sign. I'm pulling the cards. Here's the cards. Now, people start to ask, like, hey, what were my cards again? These get posted on Facebook and on Instagram. You can go find your individual rising sign cards. So don't worry about that. They will get posted after this gets uploaded, of course. So with that being said, first things first, we're going to talk to Aries and Aries risings. Okay, my loves, this is a full moon in your 3rd house, which is one of those cadent houses that I was talking about. There's something about an understanding. Now, whenever it comes to your chart ruler, Mars, it is also in a cadence house. So there's this energy towards we need to learn something. We need to understand something. We need to prepare something. There is a transition in mind. A lot of you have recently had some things that popped up that had some financial changes to them. For some of you, it's cost you money. For others, there has been the potential of making money, but there was a financial shift that has led to this transition in a lot of ways. There was something about the last few months that now we're trying to get the better understanding. Now we are trying to fight the bigger battle. Now we are trying to overcome a situation. We are trying to put some new truths forward in a lot of ways. And I got to tell you guys, the energy that kind of comes from here is very, very quick for you. And the thing is like for a lot of you, you have been kind of shell shocked because of how heavy everything was through October and November, because of how heavy like your 8th house transits and your 12th house transits were simultaneously. That was a very emotionally heavy energy. And now as we're kind of charging ahead from here, we're releasing some of the fears in regards to whether we're going to lose everything or not. And that goes into this 5 of Coins card. This is a bankrupt card. It's a desolate card. It's losing our money, whether it's through taxes or through gambling or through insurance or anything like that. Like 5 of Coins, like there's kind of like, there's been this tussled fear around money, but we have one more final trek of one, what Mercury is going to do as he wraps up Scorpio now. But 2, we are still back at that Uranus in Taurus energy. So we have one final adjustment in this financial area in ways that we make money, in ways that we spend money. That's on the horizon, but it's not something that we can immediately deal with because we need more information. We need to know some things. Now, for some people, it is not financial. It was a transformation. So we have, for the 5 of Coins, we also have this Knight of Swords. and we have this 7 of Wands. So we're going to do all 3 of these real quick. So the Knight of Swords, this is a very Gemini card. Swords are air. Full moon in Gemini, this is an air sign. There's no emotions when it comes to swords. It's the facts, it's the figures, it's the receipts. There is a direction. There's certain information that must be voiced, that must be dealt with, that must be overcome, that we have to work through. But when I was saying like we have to work through, there is something very, very fast coming. We have the 8 of Wands and we have the Chariot card. We also have this 4 of Coins. So I want to kind of tie all of these together as I continue the rest of this conversation. Your chart ruler over the next few weeks is going to wrap up its trip through Sagittarius. Whatever you've been dealing with, either with travel, Mars and Sag. If you've been dealing with institutions like hospitals or courtrooms or lawyers or mortgages, I'm trying to think of all the ors, prisons, libraries, universities, like if we've anything that we've dealt with institutions, that learning vibration, whether it's learning through experience or getting things put into perspective for us from other people, there is a trajectory that's meant to come as we edge through the rest of this month. Because literally in less than 2 weeks, Mars, your chart ruler, is going to move into Capricorn. There is a direction that is unfolding as to what we want moving forward and the levels of either treatment or care, responsibility, authority that you will be kind of overtaking going into the new year. So this is a very transitional energy. And some of us, what we might be committing to going out to this 4 of Coins is if we're potentially changing careers, part of that commitment might also be about your financial gains. So it might not be payouts. It might be more along the lines of stating your worth. If you want me to take this position, if you want me to do this other thing, you're going to pay me for it. Now, for other people, there's been secrets. The thing about the 8th house is it's a secrets house. Some of you are going to have to deal with either your secrets coming to the surface or other people's secrets, and then how that truth coming to light is impacting you. We were meant to gain a different level of experience going through November because all of November was Mars in Sagittarius. It was Mars in this directional shifting vibration. And for a lot of this time frame, it was learning through disruption. It was learning through chaos. It was learning through the things that we didn't know that we needed to know until we were in that moment experiencing them. Now we're kind of wrapping something up, or we're getting closer to wrapping something up so where we can commit to something, but we need to still have some final logical communication. And I'm going to tie these two cards. These are not new. I've already picked these up before. With the Seven of Wands and this Four of Coins, you need to stay very clear on your worth and not showing all of your cards and keeping a good poker face. For many of you, you need to keep a really good poker face when certain people are trying to test you, especially if you have the courtroom stuff. If you guys are dealing with like lawsuit, courtroom, that level of negotiation, again, stick to the facts, the figures, the receipts. Don't lead with emotion because that's not doing you any favors. And be prepared to have to defend yourself in a lot of ways with the Seven of Wands. But with the Four of Coins, there's also a need to keep certain things close to yourself. So be prepared to defend yourself without revealing too much. Be prepared to have to convince some people of some things, but without sacrifice. And that's going to be a little bit harder. Like, don't buy your friends. I'm going to say it that way. It's not just your friends. Like, pay your attorney fees if it's an attorney thing, but don't buy your friends. Don't buy the followers. Don't waste money. Don't overextend yourself. Still make sure you keep certain things close to your chest. But this is a transitional energy. There can be something with siblings. There's a decision going on. There's something that's being communicated. There's a plan of action, especially whenever it comes to our finances, and also the direction of where we're going in next year, because there's a big direction transition that's happening through the month of December. Okay, moving along. Moving along. We're going to get to Taurus and Taurus risings. Okay, my loves. This is a full moon in your second house of money, your assets, the way that you make money, the way that you spend money. What are you doing with your stuff? Some of you are going to have to be making some hard decisions of whether you're going to keep some of your stuff. Some of you are looking at selling some of your stuff. Some of you are wanting to make some kind of change, or you're being forced loosely to help somebody out financially. And I know that part seems a little bit odd, but here's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at, this is a full moon in your second house of money, but Mercury, the ruler of said full moon, ended its retrograde in your seventh house. So it's very likely like the opinion, the situation of another person and what they need to be successful to get the things that they want. It means making a change. It means making an adjustment. And for a lot of you, there's a directional path that's kind of coming through, but like it's not you necessarily doing that directional path or making that call. It's you not fighting it. And for a lot of you, some of you might be making the call, but I don't think that that's quite it. I think that you've had to be support for a lot of people in recent weeks. You've been seeing so much going on with other people, given the fact that we just went through Scorpio season. We had all of those transits through Scorpio, of course, which is your seventh house of friends or other people. But that seventh house energy was also trining your 11th house of friends. So that's kind of where I was going with that. And it's like this ping pong effect. Like, you guys have seen a lot of things going on with other people. And it's like you've been along for the ride. Like, oh, you need help doing what? You need me to help you move. You need help with this. You're going through a bad breakup. You're going through whatever. There's some level of support. Some of you, the support that's being had, though, is a financial support. Some of you are making the decision to give money to someone else to help them with whatever they're dealing with, whether it's car repair, if it's a legal situation, if it's an investment, like where there's something financial, yet other people are involved, given the way this is kind of unfolding. Now, for some of you, it could be super mundane. Again, it could be the travel aspect, or if we want to do something different, we want to go in a different direction, we're putting money into our business. Like, it can be something like that. We have a lot of kind of like exchange in the give and take with the Six of Coins. You can only accept as much as the other people are willing to give. You should only give as much as you can actually withstand without sacrificing yourself. And the reason I'm specifically saying that term is because of the way the rest of the cards are kind of playing out. So we have the Six of Coins, but we also have this Emperor and a Judgment card. For some of you, you're going to be the Emperor, and you're going to be one of those things in one of those places where you have to make a judgment call of whether you are going to help another person or not. And some of you might be making the decision to financially cut someone off. That's a big possibility. If you're making that kind of judgment call, they might not like it. They might be shocked by your demeanor or the way that you're saying something. For others, you might be about to surprise somebody in the attempts to help them with something. So we also have this Queen of Coins after the Judgment card. So with the Queen of Coins, we also have the Four of Wands and the 10 of Cups. This is like really pretty energy for you guys. Considering your chart ruler, Venus, is now in Sagittarius, it's now in Jupiter's sign, it tells me that we can be, again, looking at investments, looking at something with the insurance, something around a payout, something in regards to an investment on all levels with investment. It could be stock, it could be crypto, it could be investment properties, it could be your 401k, it could have to do with insurance. Like there's something here about the financial aspect and whether you're helping someone else or not, or if it's to finally shut someone up, it's like finally paying them off. Like, fine, I'll figure out a way to pay you the whole amount right now because I don't want to do this payment plan anymore. Like there could be something in that regard of just like, I'm done. It could be that way too. But there's a huge financial energy here for the Taurus risings. So it's about your assets. It's about your money. It's forcing you to spend some money unexpectedly. Some of you are excited about the idea of investing this money. Some of you are looking at this money as like, this is just a means to an end. Like it's very interesting where everybody's at, because some people are still trying to get their bearings about them after the Mercury retrograde, where other people, you are very clear of like, I'm doing something different starting now. But for you guys, especially with your chart ruler being in the 8th house, it's very money, asset, debt, goal driven. But the way your cards lay out, it's actually more beneficial than it is negative. So I feel like a lot more people are going to be dealing with that beneficial side, but one or two, you're going to be putting your foot down. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. Let's be fair about that. All right. For Geminis and Gemini risings, you are the problem. We just had this Mercury retrograde. You had a very different perspective of certain things coming up with other people. Some of you are rethinking some of your relationships. Some of you are learning that your partners are in a very different mentality right now, because again, that Mercury retrograde happened in that 7th house, but then he retrograded back into your 6th house of health. How you care for yourself, how you care for other people. Now, if anyone is dealing with like the negative impacts of the end of the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, it's going to be Gemini risings, Virgo risings, and Scorpio risings, in my opinion. Gemini and Virgo, because Mercury is the chart ruler. Scorpio, because again, that retrograde ended in Scorpio. Sag also, they're kind of fourth tied with Scorpio on that, but mainly because so much of their like behind the scenes stuff was going on. But many of you are either recently had to make a decision, make a choice to deal with something, or some of you have had these deep-seated wounds of insecurity find their way back up to the surface. And it's really forcing you to try to do something different to rebalance yourself. There is still some things that we haven't faced. There are still some insecurities about our goals, the career that we want, the things that we are doing, the people that we are connected to. There are still some final things that need to get worked through. And I'm specifically saying that to you guys, not just because Mercury ended its retrograde in Scorpio, but because now Uranus is completely back in Taurus, and we're a little bit more aware of the insecurities we are awakening to. The thing about Uranus energy is it's like light bulbs sometimes. I don't know how else to explain it. It's truly like the epiphany light bulb of like, I didn't even realize that this was a problem. I didn't realize I still felt that way. I didn't realize I was so frustrated. I didn't realize I reacted that way. And Uranus is truly a higher octave of Mercury, because there's not a whole lot of emotions when it comes to Mercury either. It's the facts, the figures, the receipts. It has to do with that communication aspect. And there are some final words in a lot of ways, some final situations that need to be faced, Eight of Swords, whether we like it or not, because it's very, very necessary to rebalance some things. Now, Mercury, again, is your chart ruler. Some of you need to deal with your wounds. Some of you need to deal with something in your health. Some of you need to find some new path in your purpose. It's a little bit different. But to get to this new path, there is going to need to be some very hard conversations. So after that Eight of Swords and Justice card, we have this Two of Coins and we have the Five of Swords. You can see that right here. Two of Coins, Five of Swords. There is a decision necessary to rebalance the scales to help you in the long run with rebuilding your confidence and again making the trek into the new form of stability. Now, the thing about Saturn is he also ended his retrograde when Mercury did. They were in a trine with one another, and their retrogrades ended literally within like a 48-hour span of each other. So there is a vibration here of more than one thing needing to be set straight. And given that so much of the emphasis now with this full moon squaring the nodes moving forward, we have a gain towards where we go next in the future because we have some kind of like independence and stability that we're wanting to move towards. But for us to get there, there's something left to heal. Now, for some of you, it's literally like how you care for yourself on a daily basis. We got to do something different in our routine for our gut health, something along these lines. But for others, it is the wound tied to childhood, tied to the family, tied to what has gone on in the past, or tied to the relationships, that abandonment, something like this. The thing about Mercury is it doesn't just rule you, it also rules that fourth house of home, home life, and family. In your last two cards, we have this Ace of Wands, we have this new beginning vibration, and we have the Four of Wands, the stability. The people that we're meeting with, the people that we're talking to, the people that we're having the really hard conversations with, they are going to be a big player in some way, or they need to get removed to make space for the big players of what we'll start to focus on next going into 2026. Because for a lot of the Gemini placements, there's a financial element coming, a new financial trajectory and responsibility. But for us to be able to work towards our goals of independence and success, there's the unfinished business either around our health and how this is holding us back, around our routine and the ways that we need to up our game a little bit. But for others, it is around the wound. And sometimes the reason you don't think that you're going to reach certain levels of success is because there's something that's impacting our confidence. Now, let's be fair. Saturn in the 10th, the last 2.5 years, he's stomped all over everybody's confidence. Let's be fair about that. He's not always a great person to work with. He's a hard teacher, but he's also that hard teacher that can completely change your life if you will finally listen to the lessons. Listen to the lessons. If you stop running from the responsibility, if you really want to achieve something, we have to listen to Saturn. This is not a very popular opinion. I know that. But I mean, for real, with these three cards right here, for you to start something new, Ace of Coins, we have to do something new. We have to decide to make a change, Two of Coins. And all of this change is so important for us to reach this new long-term version of stability. Now, I always look at the Four of Wands as like chair legs. You want all four chair legs firmly on the ground before you put your ass on the seat. For you to reach that next form of heightened stability that you're wanting to get to, especially financial stability, we have to make the decisions. We have to work through the things that we haven't been able to work through yet. We have to find a way to rebalance ourselves so we can start to have the gains of doing something new, especially as we get into the first half of 2026. The first half is very important, especially for you guys. Okay. right, moving along, moving along. We are going to get to Cancers and Cancer risings. Okay, my loves. This is a full moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, endings, healing for some, escape for others, betrayal, lies, backstabbing, secrets in a lot of ways. But this is a full moon right after Mercury turned direct in your 5th house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Some of y'all have to come to terms with some of the people that you have trusted, some of the people that you have loved have betrayed you. People that you used to show love towards. Some of you are feeling cut off from your children, or you are feeling like you have to cut your children off. It's a kind of a harsher energy for some. It's awakening a lot of insecurities and instability. But this is a reflection timeline where we are going to be very much tested, especially tested on the things that we did earlier this year, specifically during the Mars retrograde. Now, here's the deal. Jupiter has been retrograde in Cancer for a couple of weeks now, but now he's moving. He was at 25 degrees basically all of November. The very last few days of November, Jupiter started to move. And as we go over the next month, Jupiter will be moving, but specifically moving over areas of the sky where we had a Mars retrograde back in January and February. So what we're going to start to deal with through the month of December and January and going into February, as we go through these next few months, we're going to start to go over things that we did before. And we are either going to be healing the scorched earth trajectory of before, or we are going to start expanding and learning from some of the vibration of what we were connected to before. But for some of you, you have to get real clear about things that might be hidden in the closet. Because the amount of exposure that is underway, that cannot be avoided, that is on its way, is going to test you immensely as we go into that new year. And there could be some type of hidden vibration, hidden things, the insecurities, the frustrations, some final round of something that needs to be released. It needs to be spoken. It needs to be told to the people that we love the most. The Mercury retrograde ended in the 5th house. Love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Some of you are going to be having to make a very hard decision, judgment card, that is going to impact the kids, especially whenever it comes to the home life. We have the judgment card and we have the tower card. Now, in my opinion, the tower card is going to be the hardest of all of these. And it can speak to the vibration of where we will have like the further levels of judgment. So we have the judgment card and the tower card going into the first of the new year. But that's only if we are not in alignment. What I'm going to start saying to a couple of the signs, and I'm starting on this episode, especially with you guys, you better have your shit in alignment. You better be clear on the facts, the figures, the receipts, because the level of exposure that's going to have the potential of coming to light over the course of the next few months can completely derail. So if we did negative things back during that Mars retrograde, they're going to come back and roost. That's coming back to bite you. But if we were able to do more spiritual healing, overcoming, letting some things go back then we're in a level up energy and it's going to get recognized by other people. So this tower card is kind of mixed because for some people, there will be a judgment, quite literally, over the weeks to months ahead, but it can get instigated right here in this full moon. And if you have some type of trigger of insecurity come to the surface, do not ignore it. Now let's talk about the rest of the cards. We have this Wheel of Fortune. We have this Page of Wands. We also have the 7 of Wands and the 3 of Wands. You can see these guys right here. Okay. I'm going to kind of put all these together. There's a turn in the vibration. There is a turn in luck. There's a turn in wealth. There's a turn in prosperity. There's a turn in judgment. There's a turn in the view. And if you were negatively treated, or you feel like you really, how do I want to say this next part? If you feel like you were betrayed or traumatized or abused or something like that back in that early part of the year, back when Mars was retrograde, now we're going to have a full circle moment of expansion, of growth, of knowledge, of some learning. For other people, what starts to unfold from here is going to be something tied to health, but also the reliance of other people. So for some people, there is a health energy in there too. But what I really want to put together is these two right here. Is this 3 of Wands and the 7 of Wands. You put them together, they're the 10 of Wands. That's a burden that's starting to unfold, that is starting to get released, but we're not quite in the release energy yet. But what we are doing is we are proving ourselves. We are talking with purpose. We are ready to fight something out. We're in politician energy. I'm just called 7 of Wands. I would think 7 of Wands is politician energy, but we're specifically having to do stuff with the people around us, the 3 of Wands. It doesn't matter if people are coming or going. It doesn't matter how high or low the situation is. There is something new, Page of Wands, in the unfolding, in the turn, that is showing direction. And from this point forward, for a lot of the Cancer risings, there is going to be a very big test in the vibration that will either derail things that we did in the temporary energy, or it's going to expand and uplift. And it really, really does come down to, for a lot of people, how we went through this entire year. And if we've gone through the uplift, if we've done things to heal our confidence, if we have done things to, expand horizons and expand direction, then this can be a really good vibration. But it's like a final purge towards healing. This is when I need to be happy. This is when I need to get off my chest to finally feel better. But for others, secrets are going to start to come out, whether you like it or not. They're coming, and judgment is coming also. You guys got to figure out which side you're on. Think about what happened during the Mars retrograde. Think about how you've been dealing with Jupiter in Cancer since the summer, because Jupiter entered Cancer back on June 9th. Like, think of the things that you've done differently this year. And if you're ready for any level of karma tied to any of that. Okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's get to Leos and Leo risings. I don't feel like you guys are the problem. It's like, if y'all are the problem, like, I have no problem with telling you. Sometimes I'm the problem, and I'm completely happy with saying that sometimes too. But it's a better energy for you guys. This is a full moon in your 11th house. Friends, network, clients, colleagues, people in your surroundings, alliances. There's something different in the friend group. There's also things that can be tied to the children of others. Now, considering the sun, your chart ruler, is in your 5th house of children, there could be something around friends, your kids' friends, making friends with like your son's best friend's dog, dad, mom, grandma, grandpa. Like, we start to make a connection. We have a shift in connections. We have a shift in friendships. Some of you are going to have some people over at your house for the first time. What I'm looking at is, this is the full moon in the 11th house, but Mercury retrograded ended in your 4th. That's the 4th house of home life, family, mothers. Some of y'all bringing your friends home to meet your mom. Ma, this is my best friend from school, and we've been having a good old time. And you might have questions, because all parents do. I don't know about you guys. My grandmother, my rock star, okay? My grandma was everything. She was also a Leo rising. She was Leo rising, Sag sun, Gemini moon. This transit was her big 3. It's not even a joke. I'm totally picking up on her right now. Every time I'd bring home a new friend, this woman turned into investigative mode. She was also Pluto conjunct the ascendant. I got it from her. And she's like, she wanted to know everything. Who are your parents? What area of town do you live in? We were from a small town, population of like 3,000 people. It was a small town. It's like, who are you? Who are your people? And some of you are going to have exactly that. It's going to be like, who are you and who are your people? Your kids are bringing somebody home. Some of y'all, you're going to your friend's house for the first time. Some of y'all are talking about like your first kind of difference in gathering. Like, I want to go hang out. This is a happy-go-lucky energy. Like I said, you guys aren't the problem this time. We're having fun and trying to experience something. Some of us are helping people like sell their house. Some of us are moving into a new house. We're getting a new roommate. Like there's something about the home, some of the family, but also the friends and the people we surround ourselves with. And this is really like a much more lighter and fun energy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everybody's perfect. There can be some tensions going on in the family, and some of y'all need your friends to be able to help you out with that. Like, I can't go home to my brother one more time and deal with this nonsense. Like, it's like we just fight to fight, Five of Swords. It's like we just fight to fight. And sometimes that's the shit, especially whenever it comes to siblings. All you want to do is fight to fight. That's all you have ever done. They come in, they knock your crap down, and then they just disappear like you freaking asshole. So other people think you're great, but I know better. Yeah, we do know better. But some of you have been in this situation over the last few months where it's like we just kind of fought to fight. And there's like no rhyme or reason to any of it. And again, you need that extra support. You need that extra person to kind of help you understand. It's helping you like in ways of how do you defend yourself, of ways that you say some things differently. For some of you, you're actually going to be going to other people's houses. And I don't want to say judgment in the sense of like you're going to be mean to somebody. It's more along the lines of like we're going to say certain things to people that either we might have to defend the way that we say them, Seven of Wands, or we're helping someone else with how they get over the issues within their family because there's been other levels of conflict that they are also dealing with. Five of Wands. There was a lot of conflict whenever it came to November, but there was also some putting some things straight. So I want to put away the conflict cards. I want to go with the next three cards. For some of you, it was finally releasing control of certain things and not necessarily wanting to hold on to the way things had previously been. And we've created some like new kind of tradition. Like we didn't go to grandma's house for whatever reason. Like I just did it all myself. I had Thanksgiving at home. I decided, oh, I'm just going to stay here. I didn't want to do all that other stuff. And because we did something different, full card, we started something that we're more committed to, something that we would enjoy doing again. Queen of Coins. It's telling our friends, like, man, this went so well. This whole vibration, it went so well. I'm so glad we finally had these conversations that I think I want to do it again. Hey, you want to come over for Christmas? Like Chariot card. There's a very fast moving energy that's also unfolding. Many of you guys are in a more happy-go-lucky vibration, especially now that the sun is in Sagittarius, because it's your fifth house. It's a creative energy. We're feeling hopeful. We're feeling a little bit more prosperous. We're feeling a little bit better. Our focus is a little bit more on the family life and in the kids, but we're also feeling like we can finally release some things. Now, that release might require some additional conversations. It might require going into deeper levels of your mental health. Some of you, it is going to have some depth to it, but it's also requiring you to finally do some of that inner child healing because we're holding on to things that are making our body rattle. And if we lean into the healing prospect, now here's why I'm saying healing. The sun is in Sagittarius, but Jupiter, the ruler of Sag, is in your 12th house. And there's going to be some insecurities. There's some additional things that we need to heal. There's some additional things that we need to focus on that we need to finally have the conversations to work through, to talk through. There's some of these angst and anxieties that we're just holding on too hard. And the best way to finally feel better is to release them. And sometimes the only way that you feel better is to sit down and talk to somebody. But some of y'all don't like talking to a doctor. You like going to a shrink. You need your friend. You need the people in your surroundings. You need some other level of support. And again, this is a full moon in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. Some of y'all just need sofa wine time, couch wine with your bestie. I'm not opposed to couch weed either, but that's a different conversation. Anyways, moving along. For Virgos and Virgo risings. Okay, my loves. This is a full moon in your 10th house of career. Goals for the future, public image, where you're going next, where you are seen, how you are seen. And there's a big shift in your vibration, given the fact that your chart ruler, Mercury, just ended its retrograde. Some of y'all need to have some very hard conversations. The signs that I felt like had the hardest time through the Mercury retrograde, going into this full moon and all that, Gemini risings, Virgo risings, because Mercury, of course, is your chart ruler, and just the way that it started being Mercury in its detriment, but then also ending with Mercury going into Scorpio and everything that Scorpio represents. And then after that, it's like Sag and Scorpio. It was hard for those two signs too. But for a lot of you, you've got to make a very hard decision on going into a new chapter of your life. We're wanting to go in a different direction. And that means also committing to the fact that something has to end. Now, for some of you, the ending is going to be very, very easy. For others of you, it's going to be very, very hard. It really kind of comes down to like how big that conversation is going to be. Are you just leaving a 9-to-5 job or McDonald's or something like that? Be like, peace, I'm out. I got another plan. I got something else I want to do. No, that's going to be super easy. But there is something that needs to kind of fall to the wayside. We got this tower card. It was the first card out. So we definitely got the tower card. But everything from the tower card is like, look, sometimes we got to light it on fire. Sometimes we have to cut it off. Sometimes we have to let something come to an end because something much, much bigger is on the horizon. Now let's go with what's on the horizon. We have the Ace of Coins. We have the Two of Cups. We have this Seven of Coins. I'm not done. We're actually still have like all the rest of the cards are really great. We have this World card and we have the Six of Wands. So again, Ace of Coins, Two of Cups, Seven of Coins, World card, Six of Wands. The Ace of Coins is we want to do something different. We want to commit to something new. With Mercury turning direct, the only way we can work through our insecurities is by making some kind of change. You have been in the horizon of making a change. You have had to make a logical decision to change something. And that is that Tower card. You have to make some space. A lot of you know that. Some of that is based off of how you're connecting to other people, friends, groups, relationships. Some of you, the only way that you can hit the next direction is by doing something different, either with your partner, in relationship, with the groups of people. Like that's a very necessary thing. We have one thing that must come to an end. But there's so much good that comes from it afterwards. With the Ace of Coins and that Two of Cups, we are committing to something that is going to bring prosperity. It's going to bring abundance. It's going to shift our luck. With that World card, that is starting a next chapter of our life. Remember, for you guys, as we go into 2026, we're going to completely submerge with Uranus in your 10th house of career. We will completely submerge into Saturn and Neptune in your 8th house. This is money. This is the future. This is money. This is the future. There is something new on the horizon, and that means coming to terms with whatever decisions we need to make right now to allow for that horizon to unfold. For some people, it's going to be super mundane, like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to totally upgrade all of my computer system so that way I can do this work. For other people, there's an investment with that Seven of Coins, an investment in time, energy, again, the devices if necessary, in the person. For some people, it's investing in people. But with that Six of Wands, there is success. There is achievement. There is growth. There is the potential of great things. There's a reason that you guys felt so deeply you had to release something and you had to let something go. Because this is the first Mercury retrograde since the Virgo new moons. And now that we've done that retrograde, we wrap it up with a full moon in the other mercurial sign. This is a compass. This energy for you guys have been a compass in direction. And some of y'all need to realize that some of your direction is going to include different people than you thought it would 3, 6 months, 12 months ago, however long. There's a new direction unfolding. Okay. Moving along, moving along, moving along. For Libras and Libra risings. Okay, my loves. This is a full moon in your 9th house. Higher education, higher learning, hopes and dreams for the future. In a lot of ways, institutions. We've got to learn some things through experience. There can be things tied to your faith. There can be things tied to Um, not just learning, but teaching. And considering everything else that's here, there can also be things tied to travel. Full moon in the ninth house, while Venus, your chart ruler, is in the third house. The third and the ninth combined, these are travel houses. Some of y'all are traveling somewhere. You're getting some plans together as to what you want to do for the future. You're getting some plans together as to what's going to be the best in this new form of responsibility or this level of ascension in the direction that I'm wanting to go into the future. There is a new vibration underway that is going to force you guys to make some decisions that you could not have seen coming. In a lot of ways, you could not have seen it coming. This is a full moon in the ninth house. Again, institutions, higher education, learning, travel, things along these lines. But the ruler of said full moon, Mercury, is in your second house of money. Some of y'all are going to have to spend some money to make some money. Some of y'all are just going to have to bite the bullet and just book the trip. We just need to book it. We just need to let it go. Some of y'all need to realize that what's being uncovered is also going to be stuff that's going to start to impact the family in ways that we were not anticipating as we move into the first of the new year. And many of you are going to be making some very interesting decisions as to whether you're going to continue doing something or if there's going to be some people that need to be left behind. All of December is a transitional energy, but the big new that goes into January is around your fourth house of home, home life, and family. There is something that is going to be uncovering. There are certain truths that need to be seen. There are certain decisions that we need to take. And we have this Two of Swords energy. It's also followed by this Empress card. So you can see this right here. Some of you guys are going to be forced to make a decision that you could not have seen coming. You're going to have to deal with certain information that you were not privy to before. There are certain things that are going to require walking away, like making the decision, Two of Swords, to walk away from some people, given these next two cards that are going to come out, and that is the Six of Swords and the Tower card. As we get closer to January, this is like a peak of the information. Some of y'all at the end of the Mercury retrograde, you found some things, you discovered some things, you checked the bank statements, you were going through the doctor's notes, you were going through some things, and some things just didn't jive. You got some extra bills. Something just didn't quite make sense. And again, you're getting closer with the Two of Swords to making a decision that you were either not wanting to make or never aware that you were going to have to face. There's going to be some come apart. There's going to be some fall apart. There's going to be some breaking with this Tower card. And again, as we get into January, a lot of the new is in that fourth house of home, home life, and family. Some of y'all are going to have to make the decision, Six of Swords, to just move away. Move away from family members, move away from your hometown. You're going to end up having to walk away or move away from places or people that no longer give you fulfillment with this Six of Swords, because that's literally what this is. In the traditional deck, it's a woman in a boat going downriver. It's foggy, so you can't necessarily see where the land's going to start, where the next dock is, but you also can't see the dock you left. And it doesn't matter that it's so foggy in her mind, because wherever I go next has got to be better than what I leave behind. And some of y'all are going to leave one or two people behind. But what will follow afterwards? We have this Knight of Cups and we have this Ten of Coin. We have to make space for the new to come through, for new people, new partnerships, new community, new friends, for a new trajectory going into the future. Are we going to have a clear idea of what all of that direction is from the beginning? No, it's going to take a few months. But this full moon and the layers around this full moon is going to be something that impacts many, many months ahead based off of the decision, Two of Swords, the facts, the figures, the receipts that are leading to us making decisions in this time frame, in this moment. For some people, it will be directly during the full moon. For other people, it was right at the end of that Mercury retrograde. For some of you, it's going to come this weekend when Mercury goes and starts his third transit of trines to Jupiter, trines to Saturn, to Neptune, the opposition to Uranus, because that's literally going to start this weekend and going into the start of next week. Those third hits of Mercury. So as he wraps up his shadow phase between now and the new moon in Sagittarius, for some of y'all, that's whenever you're going to finally come to terms with what doesn't continue, what needs to be left behind, where we need to leave our own version of scorched earth. And the thing is, with Venus and Sagittarius, you're going to make it pretty. It's going to be a pretty fire. We're going to throw some glitter in there. We're going to make it sparkle. And it's not going to be easy to put out. But some of y'all need to be aware that you're making some decisions that in some ways can lead to some scorched earth later on. For other people, it's going to completely rock their households. Again, later on, not immediately. Enjoy the month. Enjoy Venus and Sagittarius, because that's where she's going to be, all month. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. For Scorpios and Scorpio risings, we're kind of the problem. I said that during the new moon in Scorpio because I meant it then, and I'm really meaning it now too. We're still kind of the problem. Some of the times, the things that we are saying, Mercury direct now in our first house. Some of the ideas that we have in our head, Mercury now direct in our first house. It's changing people. It's transforming them. It's hitting them in ways that they didn't anticipate. For many of you, there's also that mundane thing. Like I had the phone insurance story at the intro of this episode. Quite literally, I should be shipping my phone out, if not this afternoon, then tomorrow, because I'm just waiting on the shipping label. So insurance claim. That's so fun. For some of you, it's something very mundane. Some of us were making a decision of a different way of spending money or making money, because Mercury again rules that 8th house, but it also rules the 11th house of friends. Some of y'all, you're going to be doing the merch thing. Like, I'm going to put this money into this product and then I'm going to sell this product later on. Some of us are talking to the people in our surroundings and we are finding ways to get out of the stuck vibration. For many of us, we've had to stay stuck for a while, but now it's not quite that way anymore. We have a different trajectory. We have a different focus. We have a different idea. We have a business in mind. And for some of us, that business is going to completely transform our lives and allow for us to, again, finally walk away from the things that was not giving us fulfillment. Finally walking away from a lot of the things that in the past have broke our heart. 8 of Cups. We walk away from the things that no longer give us fulfillment. Hangman. Many of you have been stuck in a pattern of staying in a place of just like, this is just normal. Like our people are just going to hurt our feelings. It's just normal to be in abusive situations. It's just normal for people to talk out of their ass sometimes to each other. It takes a while to realize some of the things that we've been in, some of the relationships we've been in, some of the patterns that we've been in, some of our own patterns, they haven't been good. And they're all learned vibration. The way that we respond in partnership and in relationship and friendships, our response is a learned mechanism. And some of us respond very, very poorly. Some of us are recognizing that we have to transform and change our own habits. Some of us have to walk away from the people that bring out the worst in us. And a lot of this speaks to no longer making the choice to stay stuck and to finally walk away from the things that no longer give us fulfillment. And again, you need the support of other people, 3 of Wands. You need the support of your new friends. You need the support of your loved ones. You need that new business partner. You need these new people. Because once you start leaning into the tribe, once you start trusting people around you, oh, that's a hard one. Scorpios, be open and trust. Oh, yeah, I said it. Some of y'all got to be open. Some of y'all got to trust. Some of you all got to do some things besides stay in your hole. We have to lean onto some of the people around us, because the things that start to happen afterwards move very, very quickly. 8 of Wands. For a lot of you, again, it's going to give you a whole different idea of where you want to go next in the future. 9 of Coins. And it is going to finally be a big aid in breaking certain cycles. Death card. We don't fear the death card. We are ruled by Pluto. We understand that need to transform. We understand that need to grow. Now, let's be fair. This is a full moon in the 8th house. Some of y'all, the conversation is going to have to do with death. That is just what it is. And it's like, if that's the case, then it's like, oh, somebody passed and you are dealing with the surroundings. You are dealing with the planning of the funeral. You are dealing with whatever needs to be done. But for some of you, it's not like that at all. It's more along the lines of making a business opportunity. It is making a financial decision finally happen instead of trying to beat our head against the wall of repeating the patterns of the past. I will tell you right now, it was super difficult for me whenever I separated from the home building industry. To go from home building, city infrastructure, development, land, real estate, lumber, contractors, to go from that to this, that was a huge, huge leap of faith. And I didn't do it overnight. It took a while. But whenever you move in that direction, whenever we make that switch, whenever we make those commitments to finally lean into another direction, what you can find is not just alignment within yourself, but alignment in now you're connecting with people, 3 of Wands, that are of a similar mindset to you. You find a tribe. Doesn't happen overnight. Takes a lot of time. But right now, with the way this vibration is speaking, is we have to be more trusting of other people and give some benefits of the doubt in some ways. But for others, we have to break some habits and walk away from things that do no longer give us fulfillment. And that goes back to those first 2 cards. We cannot stay stuck in the same pattern that we've been in for a very long time. It's time to break patterns and create new things for ourselves. Create the new path. Invest in ourselves. That's the big thing. Okay, moving along. For Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings, this is a full moon in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, legal matters, documents, contracts, the other side. Now, here's the deal. This is a little bit tougher for you guys. Not because it's a full moon in your 7th house. No, it's because it's a full moon in the 7th, while the ruler of your 7th house, it's in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and ending. Some of you guys are really second guessing who you're trusting. You're second guessing things tied to your partners. You're second guessing all of the wounds and the trauma. You're second guessing whether you can do something successfully or not. You're second guessing yourself. And that's not necessarily a good thing. For many of you, the focus right now should be about rebuilding confidence, doing different things in your finances, doing different things in ways that you want to make money, and different things in regards to your plans for the future. But some of you just can't even focus on the future because there's such a weighted, I almost said financial. It's not weighted. It could be financial, a weighted financial decision for some of you. Jupiter is in the 8th house, or it's a weighted emotional decision that we finally need to say. The thing about that Mercury retrograde is, of the signs that got impacted the hardest, Virgo and Gemini, because Mercury is their chart ruler, and because the eclipse axis is in the Mercury ruled signs, so they're feeling an amplification more so than many of us. But also Scorpios and Sag risings. That that Mercury retrograde started in Sag. It ended in Scorpio, but it started in Sag. And it was something over the last month that came through that made you rethink the possibilities of things. It made you rethink the direction. It made you rethink so many things. And now we're coming to a very different vibration as to how much of a burden certain people, certain commitments have been, 9 of Wands, and a recognition of what needs to come to an end. Some of you guys are helping another person, full moon in the 7th, while Mercury's in the 12th. We're helping another person deal with their drama, their bullshit, and what they need to close out. Some of us, we are definitely the support for our best friend who needs to get rid of all of the junk so they can move to a different state. Some of us are in this support position, but others, we are starting to realize somebody that we have loved and trusted we might not trust them the same way. And it is either going to require you to finally speak about certain insecurities that you do not normally speak about, or it is going to be coming to terms with the fact that somebody needs to get released. Somebody doesn't move forward with us with that 10 of Swords. Now, for some of y'all, it's a person. For some of you, the thing that needs to get released is going to have to do with your career and your work path. We have this King of Coins. Some of you, what we have to do is finally tell our bosses how they're treating us and how they're making us feel, or what they're doing and how they're creating issues in the workplace with this King of Coins. But for other people, it is a person that we have connection with, that we have belief in, that we have a partnership with, that if we want something to go better and different into the future, we have to get to the nitty gritty of what has gone wrong. And if we're not willing to accept responsibility for the things that have gone wrong, if we are not willing to finally let go of the things that we need to let go of, then we have to release them. If we are able to work through the problems and overcome them, there are a lot more things that come out well. We have this Ace of Cups that follows. We have the Four of Coins and the Six of Wands. Now, the one thing that I will say with the Four of Coins being in the mix of this one is, once we talk through the problems, and if we are talking through them and reaching terms and conditions of moving forward and healing something, then you have to find a way to let it go. Let go of the grudge, let go of the responsibility, let go of the past, let it go. If we cannot do the nitty gritty psychological, let's get to the core of something work, and instead it turns into projection of, it's no, I'm not the problem, you're the problem, it's your fault, you're the reason we're like this, you're the reason I'm so unhappy. Cut it off. Don't continue that. Don't stay committed to the insanity. Do the opposite. I've been saying it for a while. I think like more and more people are starting to realize like where they need to break their patterns and why doing the opposite has been so necessary. Because the minute we start that gear shift of not doing the regular thing that we would normally do, not giving in, all of a sudden it's like, well, I really see this very differently now. Why do I feel like I just put on a different pair of, like, I have 20/20 vision all of a sudden. I can literally see something differently. It's like, yes, because you're seeing the energy differently and you can see how it grabs. It's funny the first time you can see it, but you can see how an energy pattern like grabs someone whenever they go through their looping motion. And like, oh my God, I've done that before. So yes. And now we're breaking the habits. Some of y'all need to commit to breaking the habits. And if we can't get other people to break them as well, then we need to make some very hard decisions. That's why I'm saying this might not be an easy full moon for you guys. Some of y'all might be learning about the things that's been going on behind your back. And that's not going to be easy either. Don't stay committed to the insanity. It's not worth it. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. Okay, my loves. Starting to get a little thicker. Starting to get a little bit more intense. It's not that I don't think that you can handle intense. I know you can. It's not that at all. But there's some final rounds of healing that, and especially for you guys, now that your chart ruler is direct, it's like, I want to finally set some things straight. And that means making some very big decisions to either do something different in your health, full moon in your sixth house, do something different in your routine, face certain truths and insecurities that we're not necessarily ready to face. Some of y'all been sitting and stewing on some things for a while. And some of y'all need to come to terms with the fact that some of the people that you have wanted to trust, that you've shown love to, that has been a key part of your life for a while, they might not continue with you anymore. Others need to work through your insecurities so you can finally feel more confident in your relationship, in partnership, in the way that you're moving forward, because there's something about all of this Sagittarius energy. Now, Saturn, your chart ruler, is in Pisces. He's been here for nearly 3 years now. It's just over 2.5 years right now. It's going to be 3 years right when he leaves, which is in February. But Jupiter rules this. But Jupiter also rules Sagittarius, where Venus, the Sun, and Mars are. And for some of you, the other side, your partner, is stirring up insecurity. People that you have trust, people that you have loved, they are stirring up levels of insecurity deep within that we're just having a hard time putting into words. And a lot of times, again, we're sitting and stewing. We got the Hermit card. And you guys have so far have been the only ones to get the Hermit card. I want to be started. But the thing is, it's like Saturn stationed at 25 degrees, and he was there all of November. He will remain there for about half of December. So there's a reason the Hermit card is like a big energy that has come out for you immediately, is because in a lot of ways, you guys have been waiting for other people to figure some things out, to put some things into motion, to make some different decisions. Some of you guys are going to be, you've been waiting and helping people finally get some closure. But in other ways, you've had triggered insecurities that you've been stewing on, tied to other people, tied to partnerships, tied to your friendships. And again, there's something in regards to groups of people, the connection, that we need to finally face some things that we haven't wanted to face. 8 of Swords. But we also have this 2 of Swords. And if you put the 2 and the 8 together, you get the 10. Your 12th house is very lit right now. Some of y'all are having some insecurities triggered for a reason, because it's some extra element in our healing process where we need to finally face some things that we haven't wanted to face. 8 of Swords, truths that we haven't wanted to face, information that we haven't wanted to face, so we can finally make some different decisions. 2 of Swords. Do you hear me? We got to make some changes. We got to stop doing the same old thing. We got to learn through some level of experience. We got to commit. Some of us, you need to escape. That's the only way you're going to feel better. It's like, I need a break. I don't need to be in this place. I don't need to be in the same spot. Some of you, what you need is an actual break. And that break, if you can do the escape, if you can go gallivanting around the globe in your Volkswagen van, let's humor me. For some of you, if you can break away, you are doing immense work in your healing. But for others, if you've been sitting and stewing, you're having insecurities triggered right now, forcing you to face some things in yourself because you're about to make some huge freaking changes at the start of 2026. So there's a reason we have to get through the old habits and we have to break these cycles. We have this death card. It's because it's preparing you for the things that you wish to charge towards in the future, and the goals that we want to achieve in the future, the things that are actually going to bring us to our heart's content. We have the Knight of Cups and we have the Queen of Cups. There's a reason we have to release some old habits, some old patterns, some old insecurities, some old wounds. There's a reason we need to stop stewing on some things. There's a reason why we feel compelled to escape and run away right now. We have to find whatever means necessary to finally work through some insecurities that is keeping you from reaching the next part of your full potential. But once we're able to finally commit and reach them, this is not happening in December. This is not happening in the full moon. This is becoming aware of what we need to release. There's a logic here. But then we're going to have some very hard conversations with people that we love and trust. Some of you need to finally tell some truths to people that you do love, but maybe you don't trust so much. But there is a release. Release. Decisions and conversations towards release that needs to happen with you guys. Because the new that follows, the new that is January, it is profound, especially for Capricorn risings. Okay, moving along. We're going to get this going. All right, for Aquarius and Aquarius risings, this is a full moon in your 5th house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, children. The ruler of this full moon, Mercury, ended its retrograde in your 10th house of career. Goals for the future, hopes and dreams for the future, your public image, where you are wishing to succeed, where you are wishing to thrive. Some of you know that the only way that you can be happy, full moon in the 5th, is to do something different in career, Mercury retrograde ending in your 10th house. Now, this Mercury retrograde ended in a trine to Jupiter and Saturn. It's not quite reactivated. This reactivation happens over the course of the weekend. So there's going to be some turnaround in the vibration that is likely going to have a financial impact for you. It's either not wanting to spend money the same way or looking at a different trajectory in the ways that you make money, different financial plans coming out in the near future. There's just something about the future and your finances and whether you're going to be happy with something or not. Some of y'all are not going to be happy with it. Some of y'all are going to feel like the rug is getting pulled out from underneath you, and it's going to take you into a timeline of some insecurities, but we're not in it quite yet. It really kind of comes down to the news that comes through in and around this full moon. And for some of you, it's not going to be fun news. It's going to be something that leads to very fast moving energy and you wanting to make some big changes for yourself in the spring of 2026. But we need this moment of shift, this moment of change. Remember, this Mercury retrograde went between your 11th house of friends, network, clients, colleagues, and your 10th house of career, goals for the future, public image. There's a change, most specifically in the ways that we are connecting with people. Things that give us purpose, that give us pleasure, that allows us to tap into our inner child, our creativity. There are things that are meant to bring us peace. But many of us over the last few weeks, there's been something around this vibration of like, this isn't giving me the peace that I thought. This isn't making me as happy as I thought. So I need to do a trajectory change. I need to get prepared for something else. I need to move in a different direction. We have this Magician card, but we also have this Devil. Some of y'all are going to get told something. And this is where I was like, there might be some additional news after the full moon that again impacts the finances or something along these lines. The Magician reveals that information. It's an alchemy card. We're creating something. But some of you, with the new that's about to come through from very specific people, we have the Stubborn Emperor card with this Devil card too. There's something about this that if the decision isn't yours to make, if it's someone else's that imposes on you, that it's going to trigger insecurity. It's going to trigger frustration, not just in you. It can be in the people that are around you. Like we'll see the waves of something happening. And in a lot of ways, many of you need to take this decision news very, very seriously, because some of you all need to either spend the rest of the year preparing for something new to happen. Some of you might not like that new, but it's because it's going to like bring up some insecurities. But for some of you, you're not prepared at all with this Four of Swords. You're not prepared for the worst case scenario. There is an element that speaks to some worst case scenario because there is like an alleviation of a change in the mind, a change of opinion, the change in trajectory. It's going to take longer to get the new decision and the new trajectory for Aquarius risings. And I don't think we're going to really get into it until late January and more so February, whenever we start eclipse season. That's some foreshadowing. We're going to have a lot of conversations come February. Your last two cards speaks to why I'm saying this is going to be something that's going to take some time. Now, the Chariot card, it is a fast moving energy, all gas, no brakes. We're moving towards something. If you think about how quick 2025 has went, I'm telling you 2026 is faster. February is not that far away. And there's a reason we're going to have to get through some of the toxic, I'm thinking with the Devil card now, toxic, insecure things that some of us are not prepared for. Again, with the Four of Swords, some of us need to take the next few weeks to get prepared for something that we really don't want to deal with, Four of Swords. But it's also going to push for us to make different decisions next year, most specifically in February. And that is also going to lead to something that is going to be much more beneficial, with the Chariot card following it with this 10 of Cups. So much of this full moon is activating a long-term energy. It's not just one thing. It's activating all the things that we need to do in transition to get to the new thing. I'm saying you're probably going to do well in the transition, but I think once the new things really start to come through, it's going to trigger some insecurities in you guys. So we're going to have some new things in late December, more so the first few weeks of January. I don't know that you're going to like that time frame as much as other signs, but in the long run, things are going to work out better. So just anticipate that this is going to be an energy that leads to first insecurity before it leads to commitment of the new direction. It's a longer vibration, especially with you guys. I'm really picking up on it with you guys. Okay, moving along. Oh, for Pisces and Pisces risings. Last but never least, this is a full moon in your fourth house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers, matrons, genetics. Not everybody includes genetics with fourth house, but I do. I do. Now, this is a full moon squaring the nodes, and I haven't been too heavy on that, but there's something different about this full moon for Pisces, unlike any of the other signs, and that is the Mercury trine to Saturn and how the Saturn retrograde ended. Now, here's the deal. Saturn isn't your chart ruler, but Neptune is. And of all the signs, you guys are the only ones that has one of your chart rulers in your first house. There's something about this vibration. If it's not directly in the full moon, it'll be in the days around the full moon, either right before or right afterwards. I feel like it's more so afterwards, where there's going to be a responsibility change. There's going to be something that you were not privy to before, that you were not clear on before, that is going to come out. And for a lot of you, it is going to be something that either impacts the family or it's coming from a family member. And it is going to kind of shift parts of the direction in regards to how we're seeing the future. Because again, it's Sagittarius season. And of all the Jupiterian energy going on, one half's in Pisces, the other half is in Sagittarius. So we have a lot of things going on in regards to the future, but I also feel like there's something in this energy where you guys have to finally establish a clear boundary. Saturn newly direct in your first house. But then following this full moon, Neptune will end its retrograde. Now, this isn't happening until next week, but it'll be the last time Neptune ends a retrograde in Pisces. And there is a belief, there is a lie, fraud, deception, there is a clarity, there is something in this energy that is definitely impacting you guys more so as an individual than some of the other signs. Now, I didn't really say that quite the same way with some of the, like the Scorpio risings, because Mercury ended there. I said in some ways, like us Scorpio risings, we are problems because we are. But in some ways, y'all are the problem too, just in a different way. And I feel like it's not that you're the problem. I think for a lot of you, is like you're going to be having to deal with other people's problems. Five of Wands. There's going to be some kind of frustration or insecurity, some type of information that comes through that really forces you to start to think about how things are going to move into the future. It is either going to be something based off career or it is something that is based off family, but it is putting a very different, big responsibility onto you. There's a different focus on you. For some of you, you're going to have to kind of tighten up your purse strings based off of this with the Four of Coins. For others, the new trajectory is like, hey, we're going to have to move. Fourth house full moon. We're going to have to move far, far away. But it's going to work out well because it's going to give us a new path. It's going to give us a new path. And it's going to give us a new way of making money. It's going to help us connect to people differently. We have the Six of Cups. We also have this Chariot card. And we have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is what speaks to the passion. What I'm looking at is Saturn newly direct. Neptune's about to be direct. But they're going to start to reactivate their conjunction. And as they get closer and closer, the majority of the closer and closer is happening in Pisces. Their actual conjunction will happen in February, roughly around the 21st, trying to do that from memory. It's that time frame of February, and it's going to happen at 0 degrees of Aries. But the buildup to whatever gets committed to in the springtime, in a lot of ways, the buildup, the belief, the passion, the desire, Page of Wands, Chariot card, the Six of Cups. In a lot of ways, you're making a lot of these decisions to do something different, to connect to people differently, to change something in regards to how you see something for the future. And it is going to impact the family. And sometimes you just need the family support. You need to talk to your mom about it. You need to talk to your husband. You need to tell the kids. We're all at different ages. Like we just need our family to understand what we're doing. And if they're all on board and they give their support, then it's like full steam ahead after that. There's a communication from others that is going to put some level of additional responsibility onto you. And I don't think it happens directly during the full moon. I do really believe it's happening afterwards. Now that something is done, we can do this. Now, if we can let this go, we can go in this direction. Now we can try something different. And for a lot of you, it is going to be a shift in one moment that will lead to bigger shifts later on, specifically around home life, family, roots, ancestry, the cobwebs in the closet, but also things tied to genetics and or on the genetics thing and or on all of it. But we can be making a decision towards something here, a commitment to clear something out here. But it's also going to shift a lot of responsibility with you, for you, around you, onto you, because of you. But that doesn't mean you're making a bad decision. I want to be absolutely clear on that. We might have to do some convincing. We're really going to have to do some long-term planning. But once we get into that financial directional element going into next year, it will make a lot more sense why we went in this direction and why we did the things that we are doing now. And the reward for many of you is going to be fantastic. It will be completely worth it in so many ways. So there's that. Figure it out. Some people are going to be in their emotions, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for listening. Cards will get posted on Facebook and Instagram. Like I said, hit me up with questions. Hit me up with concerns. I'll hear it from everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.